Hey everybody, I know there's so much going on. It's happening so fast right now. I have a couple of full version videos coming out, but I wanted to touch base today and I just wanted to try to reason with people on all sides of the spectrum and say, please do not let them weaponize us against one another. Our common enemy is not each other. Your neighbor is not your enemy. I know they're setting up the snitch networks and, snitches get rewards, that whole KGB style thing. And people are cheering at the misfortune of others. They're loving to see others harmed. So while things seem to be going hot all around us, regardless of where you stand on any of these issues, the one thing that we're all in together is that our freedoms have been restricted. We're not allowed to leave our homes. They tell us when we can leave our homes, where we can go when we do, how often, curfews of what time. This is happening to all of us. They have chosen which businesses get to exist and succeed and even open, and which businesses will be instantly removed from society. And now we've moved into the thought and speech police. Our very thoughts and speech, our constitutional rights are just trampled on. And you guys know this goes for all of us. This isn't just conservative Christians. Have you noticed how seemingly random the algorithms are? That they'll ban somebody that, say, has a channel about UFOs, or they'll ban somebody who has a channel about cryptids, genetic hybrids like Sasquatch, and then they're banning political speech, and they're banning financial transactions and Shopify stores and everything. People are being canceled from their insurance policies because of their social media. This is all over the spectrum. It's anybody outside of the official narrative. There is an establishment, a uniparty establishment over us, and they are taking control of everything right now in our lifetimes. So as all of these rumors fly around about Civil War and World War III, let's reflect on this poem from a survivor of World War II. He says, first they came for the Jews, but I did nothing because I'm not a Jew. Then they came for the socialists, but I did nothing because I'm not a socialist. Then they came for the Catholics, but I did nothing because I'm not a Catholic. Finally, they came for me, but by then, there was no one left to help me. So I wanted to make this video to let you know that I'm a conservative Christian, and I love you. I'm not your enemy. I am a Christian conservative who believes in traditional family values and the Constitution of the United States of America and a free republic, freedom for all citizens, not just those who will bow down to an enormous establishment machine. And I just want to warn everybody on the left, please don't think that this isn't going to happen to you. We know it can happen to free American citizens because we've already been demonetized. They've already taken our livelihoods, fired us from our jobs, stalked us, called our banks, got our credit cards canceled, got PayPal to kick us off, where we can't make transactions in the United States of America. They've convinced our insurance companies to punish us and dump us, publishing houses to cancel our contracts. They've closed our businesses. That's a mistake that has been made again and again throughout history. Let us learn from history. Doing nothing when a tyrannical industrial complex, a technocracy, is overthrowing an entire country, even the president of that country, doing nothing or cheering them on, it doesn't just hurt us. All freedom, everyone will live in fear. Maybe in today's language, let's put it this way. First, they came for the dissenting doctors who wouldn't bow down to a World Health Organization run by people who are not even medical doctors. Bill Gates and Tedros, the head of the WHO, they are not even medical doctors. These frontline doctors who were treating patients successfully, they were honorable citizens saving lives, and they were destroyed. And we're not talking about just the few handfuls or Dr. Buttar, but we're talking about tens of thousands have now signed the Great Barrington Declaration. Doctors from every continent in unity, in one voice. When you're sick and you need medical advice, who do you ask for advice? Doctors. So if we're in a medical crisis, doesn't it make logical sense that you would want all of the doctors, these tens of thousands of doctors, in the think tank, put all their heads together? I mean, the whole world's on lockdown. Why would you not want all of the doctors to put all of their studies and all of their decades and decades and decades of firsthand medical experience into that think tank? But that's not what we saw happen. What we saw instead was a dictatorship, an unelected dictatorship step in, making decisions, medical decisions for the entire world, saying that we will censor and delete any information from doctors, medical doctors, which contradicts Tedros, the head of the World Health Organization, who is not even a medical doctor. They launched an organized campaign of propaganda to weaponize American citizens to turn on the very doctors who we needed advice from. And they launched a campaign to destroy their lives, get their medical licenses pulled, everything they could do to cause harm. I wonder how many human lives that cost. And these doctors wanted nothing but to save lives. First, they came for the doctors. Then they came for the lawyers who would dare, oh, the audacity to challenge the Titans, right? Clash of the Titans, the audacity that any attorneys would think that they could hold these people accountable according to the law. Just daring to do what they were trained to do, legal practice, filing a suit. Now, it's not just Rudy Giuliani or Lynn Wood. It's all of these small attorneys around the country. They have all been targeted to lose their law licenses. Even law firms that backed out and didn't get involved in the cases, their families and children were threatened. People were shooting through their windows. Then they came for the lawyers. Then they came for disobedient politicians, any elected representative of the people who would actually dare voice the concerns of 75 million Americans. Again, just doing their job. That's what government is. We were supposed to have representation, but they say it's sedition to have representation. So the communist industrial complex launches economic warfare, like Simon & Schuster. They cancel our book deals to try and destroy any dissenting voices, even to the highest office of the land. The very definition of a coup, to be more powerful than the President of the United States of America and say, no, you will not be allowed to address the people of the United States of America. And what arrogance to say out loud what they are saying now, that this man could unleash us. Are we animals? That's how you see us? It's the pinnacle of bigotry and prejudice against an entire people group to say that all 80 million of us are exactly the same. We're just animals that need to be kept on a leash. And this man unleashed us. Well, I have a news flash. We are sentient beings and we can think for ourselves. What this man and people like Hawley did was actually give us a voice. Because the communist industrial complex, the technocracy, will not allow us a voice. When have you heard our voice in the mainstream media? For years and years and years. And you cheer over the censorship, the digital book burning, now this digital night of the long knives after the Capitol incident, the purge of society. Then they came for the politicians. Then they came for me, a single mom in Illinois, to destroy me, to crush my ability to run my business, to take my income, to close my accounts, to harm me and hurt my family. And I've done nothing except just have my own free thoughts. They say, oh, embrace diversity, tolerance. This is the most intolerant thing I've ever seen. They won't tolerate anything. They won't tolerate any dissent. They won't allow us to succeed in life. They are openly crushing us, destroying us, harming us, and half of this country is cheering it on. And then they came for 80 million people so far. So I just want to take this one last chance to reason with you, to humanize, to put a human face to the people group that is being ostracized from society right now and demonized and criminalized. And I mean criminalized. I'm talking about the rounding up of free citizens here in my state. This is a Democrat, Dick Durbin, putting forth this bill to deem MAGA rallies domestic terrorist activity. Not saying people who burn down police stations and buildings or actually commit acts of terrorism, but rallies, entire people groups, prejudging, the definition of prejudice. That's like saying if a black gang member goes out and shoots somebody, then all black people are domestic terrorists. It's the very definition of prejudice and discrimination. And yet, all these people on the left are cheering it on because they haven't come for you yet. It's okay. You're going to turn a blind eye when they come for millions of your brothers and sisters in this nation. Here's another one. It's coming fast and furious. Did you know they did this on January 11th while we were all so busy out here hating each other? They're already trying to change the Constitution to take away all of our protections, like the Electoral College. And the irony amidst the open purge taking place right now. This is what it actually says in the resolution. Whereas the development of mass media and the internet has made information about presidential candidates easily accessible to United States citizens across the country and around the world. So now we don't need representatives in electoral college, electors, to represent us and cast these votes. Really? They've made it easily accessible because of the internet? Right now? The fact that they even say this out loud when they have disenfranchised 100 million US citizens from using the internet services, from communicating on the internet services, from organizing on the internet, even from running ads for either their businesses or political candidates. All before the elections, all of the political ads of their adversaries were taken down. And yet they think we are so stupid that they put it right there in their resolution that, hey, you don't need representatives anymore because you have the internet and information about presidential candidates is easily accessible to United States citizens. No, not to people like me. They won't let us even speak. And half the country sees it. So this is really a plea to anybody who is still buying into the propaganda on the left when they've said these things. Oh, yeah? Well, if you don't like being kicked off Twitter, then make your own. And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And you make Parler, and then they're like, no, you won't be allowed to exist. We can't run from them. They stalk us everywhere we go. They won't stop until we can't communicate at all. So if you have family who are still buying into this, please send them this video. Is there nobody left with honor and strength and courage who doesn't want to see their fellow citizens harmed, even if we disagree? Go look on Twitter. I dare you to go on any of these threads about, say, President Trump being banned or MAGA people being banned or them crushing small businesses or other businesses like Parler. Go and look at the comments from the Democrats and the leftists, the liberals. You will never see more hate than you do. Go look at the threads. Look. I dare you, because I went through last night threads with thousands of responses, comments, replies, and I couldn't find one loving comment. Not one loving, compassionate comment from anybody. In fact, if you go up here where I put mine and said, just in case I get removed from these platforms, here's my other platforms. And yeah, look at some of my replies. And I didn't say one word about Donald Trump, one word about Republicans, and still random leftists came on to cyberbully and attack me. Let me see. See, I'm just listing my platforms. I'm not even talking anything about Trump. And look at some of these people. Please disappear. You darken the world. There is no God. Go fuck yourself. Purged from society? You still seem to be alive, you dozy twat. So we're inciting, we're hateful. I never hurt anybody. I never called anybody's job trying to get them fired. I've never called anybody's bank trying to get their bank accounts closed. I would never engage in that type of behavior to harm my brothers and sisters in anywhere in the world. Is that really what you want? Is that the kind of world you want? This is not a joke. This is what goes on in communist regimes, in tyrannical authoritarian regimes. You think it's a joke? Tell that to the Chinese doctor who just used a messaging app to talk to some of his colleagues about what he had discovered in the lab about this virus. And then he goes missing for a long time, and then he shows back up just in time to die in the state-run media release. Tell that to the ex-Muslim woman who was arrested over a social media post. That's what you want, to move our free republic in that direction of these tyrannical, oppressive, authoritarian regimes? You don't think it can happen to free countries? Tell that to the pregnant Australian mom that was just arrested for a Facebook post. And what for? Oh yeah, incitement. Where have we heard that language before? This is exactly the narrative they are putting forth right now in our country.
Search warrant.
Search warrant for what?
Now, what I will explain to you is if you want to listen, you got your phone going?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right. Now, you're under arrest in relation to incitement.
Incitement?
Yeah. Now, you're not obliged to say or do anything, but anything you say or do may be given in evidence.
Excuse me, incitement for what? What on earth? Yeah. Excuse me, what on earth?
Just put your phone down.
Can you
In relation
record
to-
this? I'm in my pajamas.
What's
I had
this?
an ultrasound in an hour.
Yeah, she's pregnant, so...
Finish and I'll explain. It's in relation to a Facebook post, in relation to a lockdown protest you put on for Saturday.
Yeah, and I wasn't breaking any laws by doing that.
You are actually. You are breaking law. That's why I'm arresting you.
And on another front of the tyranny, of course, here's the new video that went viral where these police come in. They actually rough up the children. The children are screaming and scared to death. You know, what's going on? And what these people did was they dared shelter in place with family members that, you know, weren't in their whatever official bubble. You know, they tell us now, they tell us that you can only go to the store with one family member. You can only do this with one family member. You can only have Christmas with, you know, just who lives in one household, not two households. And, you know, this, if you can't see that this has gotten out of control.
Yes, it is. It's my house. Get out of my house. I did not ask you in here. Get out.
We could have forced the door if you didn't open it.
For what offence? For what offence?
Because there's suspicion that you have people within the address that do not belong here.
I am a woman of this land, right?
Absolutely not. You say
Right
it
now.
again, I'm going to look you for a breach of the peace.
Oh, just stop it, man. In my house.
Yes.
In my house.
Yes.
I do not think so.
Oh, trust me.
What's wrong?
Come
What are you, mate?
Right, no.
Mum, no, please, my mum, no, please stop it, my 9-year-old. Please stop it. She's got anxiety. She's just been at hospital. She's just been at hospital. What is going on? She's just been in hospital. Get off of her. She's got epilepsy.
I'll spare you the montage of all of the people getting attacked all over in parking lots and grocery stores and CVS, you know, anywhere they go if they don't wear a mask. And in a lot of states, it's not, you know, it's not even a rule that you have to wear a mask anymore. Just in the really, really communist states like, say, California, the ones with the draconian measures. But, you know, that's what Biden and Harris, they campaigned on that. They said, we will make it a law. We'll make it a federal mandate that everybody has a muzzle on. Not just muzzle their voice, but you're going to have to cover your face. Despite the science, we're printing out the actual CDC pages off of their own website, the actual graphs like I have on the screen right here, showing are masks effective? Here are the statistics. Here are the actual scientific results. We've had, our 2-week flatten the curve lockdown and these masking and all of that. Those 2 weeks have turned into a year now. So we have data. But science doesn't matter. That's why they ban and censor and destroy medical doctors. That's why they're removing this. You think this Twitter account's going to stay up long when I'm posting this science? This thing is coming to a crescendo. And I just pray with all of my heart, because I love you, not because I hate you or I want to win an argument, but because I dearly love you. And I want you to repent and stop engaging in this. Stop letting the machine control you and divide us and weaponize us against one another. Repent of that behavior. Turn from that and love again. Stand with us for freedom.